વિરાટ જનસભાને સંબોધિત કરવા માટે આદરણીય
It's election season and one name in the BJP's list of candidates in Gujarat has sparked off a huge controversy. The Saffron Party has fielded Dr. Payal Kukrani, daughter of a 2002 riot convict from the Naroda seat. Not just that, the biggest shocker. Payal's father, Manoj Kukrani, is a lifetime convict in the Naroda Patiya massacre, currently out on bail on health grounds, managing his daughter's campaign. He has been out on bail multiple times since his conviction. A former BJP leader, Manoj, is helping his daughter with the campaign, seen actively canvassing, managing her campaign. But the reason for bail was ill health. Payal, currently serving as an anesthetic in an Ahmedabad hospital, is confident of a win.
में जो मेरा एक्सपीरियंस है, जो मेरे माता पिता का, मेरे पापा भी 40 साल से पॉलिटिक्स में, उन्होंने अपना पूरा जिंदगी दिया हुआ है, मेरे माताश्री अभी काउंसलर हैं, तो उनका इतना एक्सपीरियंस, और जितने भी आप देख सकते हैं हमारे घर में जितने भी कार्यकर्ता हैं और जितने भी हमारे समाज और जितना भी नरोडा की कंस्टिट्युएंसी में जितने भी लोग हैं, सारे हमारे साथ हैं। सबका साथ, सबका एक्सपीरियंस आगे लेके हम चलने वाले हैं और बस वही नीति जो डोर टू डोर मैंने आपको कही, वो नीति से ही हम आगे बढ़ेंगे।
While Payal's mother, Reshma, is a sitting BJP corporator in Ahmedabad, the nonchalance of banking on her father's tainted legacy, not lost in a political arena, fueled with a steady dose of polarization. The Congress is calling Payal's nomination a reward for rioters, questioning how a riot convict's daughter can be the BJP candidate. Moreover, a lifetime convict allegedly on bail over health grounds is seen openly handling his daughter's political debut.
नरोडा से बीजेपी ने पायल कुकरानी को टिकट दी है, जो कि नरोडा पाटिया के जो कॉन्विक्ट है मनोज कुकरानी, इनकी बेटी है। क्या कहेंगे इसके बारे में, कांग्रेस की क्या प्रतिक्रिया?
देखिए, जब भी इस तरह की कोई बात आती है तो आप हमेशा पाएंगे कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी ऐसे लोगों को टिकट देते हुए मिलती है, चाहे वो जिस समय पर 2002 के दंगे हों, चाहे बाकी सब चीजें रहे हों, चाहे वो बिल्किस बानो के जो लोग थे जिन्होंने वहां पर वो जब जेल से छूट कर आए तो उनको जिस तरह से मिठाई खिलाई गई। भारतीय जनता पार्टी का चाल चरित्र और चेहरा ही ऐसा है कि जितने दागी और इस तरह के लोग होते हैं उनको संरक्षण देना।
The 2002 Naroda Patiya massacre saw killings of 97 people. Payal's father, Manoj Kukrani, was amongst 32 convicted in 2012 for being part of the killer mob. Politics is a strange landscape, where the infamy or the taint of being a convicted murderer who actively took part in a communal riot is rewarded 20 years later. With Saurabh Vaktania in Ahmedabad, Bureau Report, India Today. Because the fact is that the Naroda Patiya massacre was the one of the single most massacre which killed the maximum number of people. There are two ways to look at the story. One, should a daughter pay the price for the sins of her father? The other, 2002, convicted as a murderer who took part in a murderous mob that killed over 90 people in Naroda Patiya. Should the same man be rewarded 20 years later? But there's this other part to it as well, viewers, and I want to bring in my colleague Saurabh Vaktania into this conversation on that. Saurabh, and that's the question on the sheer fact that Mr. Kukrani was out on bail on health grounds. How is it that he's openly managing the campaign of his daughter?
Well, Preeti, one thing is pretty sure that he is out and he is campaigning for his daughter Payal Kukrani, who is an MD doctor in anesthesia. She is Russia returned, highly educated. But more importantly, when we spoke to Payal Kukrani, she also said that her father is actually 40 years experience in BJP. So this is what is something that he has lot of political background. Her mother is also corporator from Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation. But when we were trying to get him on record, they refused to come on record. They were also hiding from the camera of India Today. And let me tell you that he has lot of ground in Naroda area. He has lot of contacts over there. There is a huge huge Sindhi community who reside in Naroda area, and it has been a history over there that mostly the Sindhi community person from BJP is elected in Naroda area. Now,
so the fact is it's a traditional strong seat of the Bharatiya Janata Party. There's no taking away from that. But the question that remains, and that needs to be answered, is the fact that Manoj Kukrani was out on bail on health grounds. How is it that he's seen openly canvassing and campaigning for his daughter?
So, well, Preeti, we kept on asking the family members that he's out on hell ground, he's convicted in this particular whole massacre. Now, what the neighbors also told us that this is not the first time he's out on bail, he's out on payroll or other important things to the jail. What the neighbors saying that there has been several months and several days when Manoj Kukrani is out, and now it's the timing which is raising the whole question that how Payal Kukrani, who is completely new to the politics, she has not been in politics in the past, and BJP giving a ticket to Payal Kukrani, and completely it was something which was not expected from the area. And it's the timing when at the same time when the ticket is giving, Manoj Kukrani is out, now he's campaigning over there. Let me tell you, the sitting MLA from BJP is not repeated, and Payal Kukrani has been given ticket, and now sitting MLA is himself doing campaigning for Payal, and at that time Manoj Kukrani himself is present over here. Let me tell you, door-to-door campaigning is also happening, and he's there openly. When the India Today camera reached at the spot, he kept on hiding his face. He did not come on camera, and he left from the spot. But we managed to get some visuals of Manoj Kukrani.
Well, we can see those visuals right there, sort of. You know, we can see those visuals right there that you captured on your television camera. What the picture that you see, viewers, that's Manoj Kukrani in the backdrop. Many would suggest, any local reporter who's tracking the campaign in the Naroda seat will tell you very clearly that the daughter's campaign is being managed completely by the father, Manoj Kukrani himself. That brings us to the question, how is it a man who's out on bail on health grounds managing a full election campaign? I want to cut across to our guest this evening, Tom Vadakan, spokesperson, Bharatiya Janata Party, Radhika Khera, spokesperson, Congress, Shubh Malhotra, Aam Aadmi Party supporter, also joins us. Tom Vadakan, is a very basic question in all of this. I'm sure there's an argument which comes in which says, why should a daughter pay for the sins of her father that he committed 20 years ago? But the fact is also that her father committed one of the gravest sins. He was one of the accused. His conviction was upheld multiple times. He's again sought a plea that's still being heard. But the fact is he was a part of a murderous mob, you know, in an incident or a massacre which will go down in the annals of Indian or world history as the largest massacre in a single event.
Preeti, very strong arguments. You're on both the sides. You've got the defense and you've got the prosecution both on your side. So there's no much room for argument. But I'll take your memory a little further to 1984. We had Kamal Nath, you're familiar with the name, Taitla. They're very active these days. You have counted the historic world event, you know. I mean, you've gone into statistics. What if I ask you 1984 was not a massacre, which was under the charge of the Congress party? Preeti, tell me. And now today, you have Tainted coming out, part of the strong campaign team, and there you have Kamal Nath ji supervising the whole exercise. This is what is happening.
But Mr. Vadakan, what has that got to do? What has that got to do with what is happening? You know, that is for Radhika Khera to answer. What is it got to do with anything that has happened in Naroda?
Radhika Khera can answer it when she wants. You have been the prosecution, you have been the defense, and you are the hangman too. You have hung the case before
Sir, he's a convict, he's not an accused.
I'm not talking about the accused. I'm talking about a lady who stood for election. Her father happens to be a convict. Okay?
Okay.
He has come out on payroll. Is there any part of the Indian Penal Code that says, well, if the daughter is there and he should not campaign, tell me the rule book.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you, fair enough.
Tell me the rule book.
That's what I raised. Okay, no, 1 second. Mr. Tom Vadakan, I began with saying, should a daughter pay for the sins of her father who committed them 20 years ago? We began with that. But when you talk about Can a man who's out on parole campaign for his daughter or handle her campaign? No, sir. Under the obligations that you put for, under your parole papers, he's out on health grounds. Can you see these pictures? And, you know, we are relaying those pictures and I hope you can see them. That is Manoj Kukrani campaigning actively for his daughter. Any reporter on ground will tell you he's managing his daughter's campaign and he's out on health grounds. He's violating his bail rules.
When Lalu Prasad runs his campaign from the jail or from the hospital he sits, yeah, I've never heard you, Preeti, come on a television program and say
multiple times.
No, Preeti, I've
multiple
never heard
times.
you say that.
Multiple times,
no,
sir.
And there were times. But Preeti,
this is not about
a program where you have come and said, what has Lalu got to do from jail or what is he doing from the hospital? This man may not be 24/7 in the hospital. He must be conducting...
Sir, he's violating parole rules. The fact is, number one. Number two, if you haven't... I'm happy to send you... 1 second, sir. You've raised a question. Now hear the answer. If you're going to ask me, I have not heard you. I will send you clips. You've attended the same shows and you've been on my panel. So, you know, that I will send you the clips. Now, on the other account, is it okay? And I want to bring in Radhika Khera into this as well. But is it okay to blame the Congress or to use the Congress as a scapegoat to justify your own doing? But Radhika Khera, there's a point that Tom Vadakan also makes. You talk about, you're criticizing in Gujarat a man who's been part of a massacre 20 years ago. His daughter gets a ticket and he's now campaigning even though he's out on parole on health grounds. The fact is, as we speak, Mr. Tytler is part of the committee which is going into MCD polls campaigning for the Congress. What's the difference, madam?
First of all, Preeti, Mr. Tytler is not on parole and neither is Mr. Kamal Nath. Let me be very clear on that. This man who is a convict, he is out on parole on health grounds. I don't think Mr. Vadakan is so naive that he cannot understand what that means. I can understand the situation that he is in and the Bharatiya Janata Party spokespersons have to come out and defend the undefendable. But, you know, sometimes, Mr. Vadakan, you should let humanity take over for once and not just go and blindly go and support your party. I thought you always stood for principles, which is why apparently you left our party. Well, please stand for principles now. How can you support a person who has committed such heinous crime and he is out on parole on health grounds, and you're supporting the fact and you're saying that he's out voting, campaigning for his daughter, and that's allowed? Shame on you, Mr. Vadakan. I think humanity really dies 1,000 deaths when people come and support him like that. I'm sorry, Preeti, I cannot, as a human being, I cannot accept something like this. But it's not something new that is coming out of the Bharatiya Janata
fair enough.
Party.
But Radhika Khera, as I bring in the Aam Aadmi Party spokesperson, I want to ask you as a human, can you accept the fact that Mr. Tytler's name, which found mention in the Nanavati Commission, which clearly named him as one of the people who was part of what went down in the Sikh massacre in the 80s, that is okay? As a human, you accept that. And today he's a part of your MCD panel.
I will repeat myself again, Preeti. He is not out on parole. Law will take its course. If he is to be,
Why did he step down from all posts?
Law will take its course, and we have always maintained that. But I would also like to highlight here, it is not just limited to this man who's out on parole campaigning for his daughter. Where is all the talk about and the jing-bang of the Parivarvad that the Prime Minister talks about, and he's so anti-Parivarvad? Here you have a daughter openly saying that my mother is a cooperator. You have gone and cut the ticket of a sitting MLA to give to a convict's daughter. Why? Because you're promoting the fact, you are proud of the fact that this man has a 40-year experience in Bharatiya Janata Party. You're proud of the fact that this man is your party member. And the spokesperson here is proud of the fact that he's campaigning. So you were not saying on anything, and I will repeat myself again. In Haryana, you let go of Ram Rahim. And every time you let go of that man when there are elections.
No, but one second, Radhika Khera, Ram Rahim had nothing to do with the... No, Ram Rahim, it's a court procedure,
madam. No, that's happening in Haryana. This is happening in all BJP rule states. There is
are you raising objections on the court? Because then...
And campaigning in elections. You had
No,
BJP
Ms.
MLAs as well as
Khera, are you raising objections? Because that was a court procedural parole that Ram Rahim...
He was not out on parole to go and campaign or hold his samagams. And the Aam Aadmi Party leaders as well as Bharatiya Janata Party MLAs and leaders went on and lay down on his feet. and they were saying, asking for
Madam,
his blessing.
I'll also remind you,
a man who has committed heinous crimes.
Radhika Khera, as I go to the Aam Aadmi Party spokesperson and back to, our BJP spokesperson, I will also remind you, Mr. Jay Prakash, who was one of your, not one, who was the Congress's candidate from the seat of Adhampur also went and met Ram Rahim.
No, he did not. I'm sorry, he did not.
Madam, he was on camera saying that he respects him.
No, he did not go. He did not go lie down on his feet. He did not go.
He might not have laid down on his feet,
and there are
but
clear pictures of Aam Aadmi Party leaders and Bharatiya Janata Party leaders laying down and saying, "Baba ji, hum aapke hi hain." Everybody knows that. The Congress leader did not go over there.
Madam, the fact is, okay, I want to bring in Shubh Malhotra into this conversation. She's an Aam Aadmi Party supporter. Shubh Malhotra, how do you look at all of this? You are going into the political theatre in Gujarat, riding on bringing change, constructive development, transformational politics. You haven't said a word. The sheer fact that we don't have an Aam Aadmi Party spokesperson but an Aam Aadmi Party supporter today smacks of the fact that the Aam Aadmi Party doesn't want to talk about it. The sheer fact that none of your tallest leaders in Gujarat have spoken about Bilkis Bano.
Yeah, no, I think the platform from which Aam Aadmi Party really speaks is really based on their model that they have proven themselves to be quite good again and again as far as Delhi elections are concerned. I mean, if you see their performance based on their delivery with respect to education, with respect to healthcare, with respect to roads, with respect to electricity, with respect to social enrichment activities, there are Yog Shala classes running, and the schools have seen an amazing transformation. And I think people feel that Aam Aadmi Party stands on a completely different platform and has proven itself
So,
again and
today
again.
you look as similar as any political party, because number one, why is it that the Aam Aadmi Party's top leadership till now has refused to speak about Bilkis Bano? You're entering Gujarat. Isn't Bilkis Bano all about women empowerment? Isn't it all about this one woman being wronged where the system is concerned?
No, of course it is, and it's not just like one woman, it is across many women. And if you see, as far as empowerment is concerned, the Aam Aadmi Party has taken the lead by, ensuring that they have made...
Madam, name me two leaders who've spoken about Bilkis Bano in Gujarat from Aam Aadmi Party.
No, but the thing is that in all of this, somewhere the most important points of Gujarat's discourse are getting lost. So why distract oneself from, the key themes, the key topics and their key agenda of governance and go to these other topics? Because it is more important to empower all women rather than talk about, one case, of course, a very important case that has happened in the past. But at the same time, one has to bring about the key developmental issues as well. And I think that is where Aam Aadmi Party...
Madam, I'll tell you what it smacks of. For any one of our viewers who's watching this debate today, it smacks of that all three of you practically are towing the same line in very different ways.
I'm sorry, Preeti. I'm not
okay, ma'am, make your point. Make your point. I'll go across to Mr. Tom Vadakan. Make your point. Ms. Khera, you wanted to say something.
Yeah. It's very surprising. Like you said, I don't know why the Aam Aadmi Party is running away from this. They should come out and open. And specifically, the Aam Aadmi Party supporter here is talking and saying that Bilkis Bano is not an important thing. Is not important. Madam, you forget. You remember how you formed the government in Delhi? हाथ में तिरंगा लेके आप चले थे निर्भया के लिए इंसाफ मांगने. उस निर्भया के ऊपर आपने राजनीति करी थी. The Nirbhaya Fund, which still rise not utilized. Preeti, Nirbhaya used to live in my constituency, and the Aam Aadmi Party MLA from there is there for the last 2 times. And till date, that gully where she used to live in, there are no street lights. This is the Mahila Suraksha that they promised.
But
they have kept quiet, and they are the ones who went and gave Silai machine to the Nirbhaya convicts. And they are not going to talk on Bilkis Bano. The Congress Party is the only party who has continuously been raising its voice.
Fair enough.
Demanding justice for Bilkis
No,
Bano.
you're right there. You are right there. Radhika Khera, yes, I do agree the Congress. Radhika Khera, I do agree the Congress has been the only political party which is going out and speaking about Bilkis Bano. But you talk about your constituency from which came Nirbhaya. You forget about there's another constituency called Trilokpuri in Delhi, which a lot of people today who are looking at Mr. Tytler being on the poll panel of your MCD poll panel are looking at it as a slap in their face. So let's not get there. But I want to cut across to Tom Vadakan again. Back into the conversation, Mr. Vadakan. Instead of diverting the topic to the Congress, to Mr. Tytler or to Lalu Yadav, let's talk about Mr. Manoj Kukrani. Mr. Manoj Kukrani is now convicted, and the conviction was upheld by various courts. We can argue and we can defend, and like you said, there are two sides of that argument, whether his daughter should have been given a ticket. But can you deny the fact that a man who's out on parole on health grounds is not violating parole norms by campaigning openly for his daughter?
Preeti, the jury is out on this case. If you're making out a case that the people of the constituency accept what they accept him or don't accept him, is an electoral matter. I'm not saying the correct issue or the wrong issue. Now the issue here is where on health grounds he may have medical checkups, he must be going through dialysis or whatever medical condition. If he is walking with his daughter, isn't this about empowerment of a girl child? You are always talking about girl child, and here's the father supporting the child.
Sir, violating poll norms.
Where?
You're actually defending it. How's the jury out on that?
Which part of the electoral moral code of conduct says a father who's on payroll cannot?
Sir, it has nothing to do with the electoral moral code of conduct. It has everything to do with what your bail bond is. Everything to do with that. A person who gets out on health grounds cannot be seen campaigning.
Look, Preeti, electoral bond is no, you're confusing on this issue.
Bail bond, sir, bail bond.
Show me the election commission where it forbids that. I can understand that.
Sir, the judicial process prohibits it. If you've been given bail on the grounds of health, you're not allowed to do anything else. You can't be out there campaigning openly. You have taken bail because you want to seek immediate health.
Is he sloganeering? Is he holding a flag? He's just walking along with his daughter.
Mr. Vadakkan, you and I both know that's a very weak defense. You and I both know he's managing the campaign of his daughter, but I do understand you have compulsions and you...
The people's court, let it into the people's court and not between Preeti Choudhry and Cham Vadakkan. Let the people's court decide what is correct.
One second. Let's not, no, Mr. Vadakkan, Mr. Vadakkan.
You and I don't have that mandate.
No, Mr. Vadakkan, people's court will be decided in terms of whether his daughter, who's earned herself a ticket. Now, there are two sides of that coin, whichever side our viewers want to look at, whether she deserves to fight or not. Sir, the people's court will decide that.
I argue my case to the extent that the daughter has a right to be removed from the electoral defeat if she has done a wrong act. But let the people's court
fair enough, Mr. Vadakkan, fair enough with what you say. Fair enough with what you say that it's the daughter shouldn't be paying for the... Mr. Vadakkan, fair enough when you say a daughter shouldn't be paying for the sins of her father. But the fact that you are going to defend...
Exactly my case.
Sir, the fact that you are going to defend a man who is violating his bail bond by campaigning when he's out on bail on health grounds.
Along with his daughter.
Sir, okay, I rest my case. I rest my case. If you think you're going to defend that, I rest my case. Radhika Khera, 10 seconds, go ahead.
I feel very sorry that, Preeti, not only is the Gujarat government, there's lawlessness all over, and there's spokespersons also defending the fact. I don't know if Mr. Vadakkan does not know on what law is. I know they don't understand, they don't want to abide by law. But you're such a senior spokesperson, Mr. Vadakkan. You have a long history with Congress. You should know this. And Congress spokespersons have always been very well informed, sir. I have not spoken in between you, sir. How can you justify? Sir, how can you justify? Sir? That was the rule.
Okay, I'm going to with that. Sir, may I?
That man has taken parole.
Okay, may I, with the permission of all three of you, bow out of this debate? There's no point getting into a fish market type debate. I appreciate you joining us, Mr. Vadakkan. I'm sorry it was a tough defense, but you had to make it. On the other hand, thank you. Radhika Khera, spokesperson, Congress, Shubh Malhotra, Aam Aadmi Party supporter. Viewers, when you actually look at it, this is all politics. At one end, of course, you have the convict in Naroda Patiya, his daughter getting a ticket. You can argue it both ways, should she have or not. But the fact that he's out on bail on health reasons, been seen openly, not just campaigning, but practically handling the campaign for his daughter, is that correct? On the other hand, there is a point. Mr. Tytler is part of now the MCD poll panel of the Congress. What message does it give out when his name was clearly mentioned in the Nanavati Commission as one of the perpetrators of the riots in 1984?